right? Or I might be mistaking it for another guy who had the lambskin seats in his coupe. But yeah, it was nice, beautiful car. He always knew how to hook up a car. And I was like, oh, that shit is me. He was like, you want to buy it? And I started to laugh. We both started laughing because he knew how I got down, and he knew that I didn't do the high profile thing. And he knew damn well that I knew better than to buy a car that he had been driving. You know, we had historical events that had occurred, you know, with people that we had in common, that were friends of ours in common. And, you know, they had jumped in his cars because he was good for that. Like, a lot of people thought a lot of cars he had was his, and they weren't his. They were just other people's cars. He was trading cars all the time. That's what they did. I didn't do that because he would jump in a nigga car and go fuck around with somebody's girl and drive off and take a date and take her to the fucking hotel or whatever, and then bring your car back. And a nigga thinking that, you know, heard that this car, that his girl was in this car at this hotel, and it ain't Alpo's car. And it ain't the guy he think it is. You know what I mean? It's Poe. And another thing, Poe. You know what I mean? So it was something else, man. He was something else. Because at the point at which I saw him at that point with the legend in front of Odell's, I mean, he was on fire. He was on fire, man. He was so fucking hot. Like, people outside of, you know, where we were from, they didn't really know it, but he was on fucking fire, bro. He was hot as a firecracker, right? So the idea of getting into his car, yes. So the idea of getting into his car, a car he owned, is like, you got to be fucking nuts, because you either gonna get pulled up on, or you can get pulled over, or you can get pulled out. Like, it's some shit. There's some shit going on, you know. And at the moment that he said that, you want to buy it, and I was like, nah, nigga, you got your mind. You must be crazy, motherfucker. No way. If your ass was in it, mine will never be in it. You dig? And
so
and I thought about, you know, back a few years earlier in New York, when a homie of ours named Travis was driving. Like, Poe was out in his purple dune buggy, and he's, you know, riding around, zipping around in the city, whatever. And then he pulled over in the block, and you know, there's something that, like, dudes did. Like, you know, we pulled over. If you pull up and you in something, and, you know, one of the homies see it, whatever, they might yell, "I'm gonna spin it." And they'll just jump in the car and take off, and just drive
and you
off.
said
And,
a dune buggy. You said a dune buggy, right?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, shit with the big tires in the back, small tires in the front, no top, little roll bar, whatever. It's, you know, kind of curvy on the side like that, whatever, you know. And Trav jumped in the joint and went to 145th Street, and niggas spun and tore him up in that car. Now, there was some other things going on at that time that Trav was more directly connected to that could have had something to do with it. But Poe was always getting into things. A lot of times things got squashed because at the time, Poe had favor with a lot of people who had influence in the street. So even
just because of they liked him or business,
we liked him. You know, he was personable and gregarious and funny, and, you know, so, you know, he's liked him, and he went hard. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's a certain level of us that appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? So he got away with a lot of things, and he did a lot of things because he got away with a lot of things. And so it could have been something that he was you know, connected to, or it could have been something that just was happening around Travis at that time. And Travis, because he was in a vehicle that you could clearly see him, and there's no cover on the dune buggy. And you talking about a major intersection, 145th Street and 8th Avenue, you know? So at any point in time, anybody could be going either across 45th, crossing the avenue, or coming up or down the avenue, and be like, oh, yo, here you go right there. You know what I mean? And if they weren't paying close attention, they might not have seen that it wasn't Poe. Or they might have been paying close enough attention to see that it's Trav. But in any case, there was always a lot of speculation that Trav got killed in Poe's Jeep because it was Poe's Jeep, and they tore it up, you know. So that's what. Yeah, that was no. I'm not buying your car, my dude. I ain't buying a car from you.